You cannot have a healthy relationship with an unhealthy person. Okay? If you don't take nothing else away from this live, and we're going to go over a couple other topics, you need to take that away with you. You cannot have a healthy relationship with an unhealthy person. Okay? Get in here. Write your questions in the window. I'm going to answer what I want to answer. I'm going to skip what I don't want to answer. If I don't see your question, I answer it. Okay? This applies to romantic relationships. That's a given, right? It applies to family relationships. It applies to friendship. It applies to acquaintances. Unhealthy people cannot produce healthy results. I'm sorry. Let me apologize in advance. Some people like to come on my live, come in my house, and tell me, could you talk about this after you get finished eating? Could you not eat on camera? Girl, if you don't move on, that's the most caring stuff I've ever heard. And y'all ain't even caring, so I'm going to call y'all Deborah's. Okay? Okay? I'm going to tell you how I think you should do things. I'm going to tell you to get on somebody. Get a therapist. Or get a man to love on you, honey. Because clearly you ain't getting something at home if you're so worried about what I'm doing. But anyway, no. You cannot have a healthy relationship with unhealthy people. I've tried. It ain't worked. I've been on the other end, being the unhealthy person. It didn't work. It don't work. It doesn't work. And I'm telling you right now, if you try, you are going to regret it. Unhealthy people, even when you bring your best self, they will find a way to self-sabotage that relationship to create difficulty in it. They will. The better you are, the worse they'll be. Oh my goodness, I'm reading your questions here. When am I getting my PhD? I don't want no fucking PhD. I don't want no PhD. Y'all love school. You can monetize your knowledge without going through 50, 11 years of school. I appreciate the compliment that was built into the question. But girl, I don't need that. I feel like a lot of y'all go to school because y'all ain't got nothing else to do. Y'all will get 15 degrees and won't use half of them. And that's okay. I'm not judging. But think about the opportunity cost. I'm going to school to get a degree and blah, 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 blah. But with those 3 years in school, while working a job, or even if you're not working a job, how much money could you have made if you just switched into that field? Even if you switched into that new field at a slightly lower salary and then grew up within it. You know? Stacking degrees, like it's going to do something. Sometimes it do. Some of y'all be better off just getting an insurance license. Get a certificate or something. Not going through school. I love y'all. I'm talking heavily to my black women right now because y'all love school. I get it. Like, damn. My degree cost, sheesh, well over $40,000. I went to a private university. Yet I built my businesses and my career on a life insurance license that cost, at the time, less than $100 to get. I'm going back to school for blah, blah. And then I'm just going to go in on this. I ain't expect to talk about this. And then y'all will spend money or take out loans, spending money to go back to school for something you ain't going to bet mo get no job in. You want to buy insurance? Click the link that's on my Instagram page. It's the link on my Instagram page that you are not going to get a job in. Why the hell are you getting a master's degree in philosophy unless you plan to teach it? You know what I'm saying? Why the hell? I don't even know. I just pick out philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Child. He said, are you able to chime into mother and daughter relationships, complexity and respecting boundaries? Yeah, I'll talk about it. I'm not a mother and I'm not a daughter. But I can talk about parental dynamics and child dynamics, especially as people move into adulthood. I think that it is critically important for parents to respect the fact that their children are adults now. And I think it's also critically important for parents to own for themselves how you impacted that child and who they grew into as an adult. Because simply saying, oh, well, that's the past, it don't matter no more. You should be over it by now. Well, good luck with that mindset. You're not going to have a very close relationship with your child. On the same page, I think with children who are adults, you accept that your parents are human and deal with them at the level that they deal with you. If they can rise up to the level of meeting you with a healthy relationship, you meet them with that. But if not, you don't owe them a relationship. You don't owe them shit. Now, when I talk about respecting healthy boundaries, I think that's a part of it. Y'all are not gonna always like everything about each other, so you set appropriate boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Boundaries didn't have to be harsh or mean, but you have to accept you can't change your parent and they can't change you. So you set boundaries that allow the relationship to feel safe for you. You know? You want to schedule a one-on-one session with me? Can go ahead and click the link on my Instagram page. It's on my Instagram page. I'll be right here. You can come right back. When you click that link, you scroll down. Like, you know, the link in my bio. When I tell y'all to go click the link on my page, it's the link in my bio. You can schedule a session right there. But yeah. That's how I feel. I was talking to one of my nephew's sons today about life. And, you know, he's telling me about his life and everything like that. And as he's talking, I'm thinking to myself, I have no responsibility to agree or disagree with your choices because they are not my decisions to make. And he wasn't making any bad choices or anything like that. I'm just talking in general. You know, my job is just to listen and laugh. If something's really bad, then I'll say something. You know? Otherwise, I'm not crossing that boundary of telling you what to do, how to live your life. Let me see here. I'm reading questions. In your opinion, why would a man circle back just to then decide to stop talking to you again? That's not the question you should be asking. The question is, why'd you let him come back when he circled back? A lot of times they circle back just to see if you'll let them come back. And then once you prove that you weak, once you prove that you don't have no self-worth, once you prove that you got a short memory for what happened last time, then they drop you because they respect you even less. A lot of men respect you more by you saying no, by you not letting them circle back. I never let nobody circle back on me. If I wasn't good enough the first time, baby, I definitely ain't good enough now. Why would you go through that? This man broke up with you. This man abandoned you. This man hurt you. He did whatever he did. At a level enough to break that y'all broke off this relationship. And then you let him come back? What kind of trauma does that set you up for? Now you're in a relationship always wondering when he gonna leave again? When you gonna dip out again? That's why I don't believe in makeups after breakups. Because one person, probably the person who got broke up with, is gonna always be wondering, is he gonna run again? Is he gonna leave again? Like he did last time. I ain't going through that shit. You are not gonna sit up here and traumatize me. Good to see you in the first meeting too, baby. Thank you for joining the team. You're not gonna sit up here and traumatize me and think you can come back. The fuck? I'm sorry, baby. I was traumatized and I was going through shit. Run to the mother who broke you. Run to the daddy who gave you those abandonment issues, but don't come to me, baby. 7, almost 8 billion people in the face of the earth, honey. You done fucked up with me. I'm not taking you back. Sorry that you went through that. You done dropped the bag. Sorry. Pray on it. Hope you do better next time for another one. But baby, we all make mistakes. Yeah. But yours was bad. Your mistake cost you me. Talk about a mistake of a lifetime. Talk about it. Nah. Don't you let a man come back after he done dropped your ass. Baby, I'm sorry I broke up with you. And went on that trip with that other girl. Then magically a month later he wants you back, girl. He broke up with you so he could cheat in peace. He broke up with you so he didn't have to buy you a birthday gift or a Christmas gift. You know men do trifling stuff like, not all men obviously, but it's not unheard of. Some men who are very emotionally immature do that kind of stuff. He broke up with you because as y'all became more committed and you started holding him accountable to act committed, he didn't want to act right and live up to his commitment. You said, who's the prize nowadays? It's not the woman. Let's take a step back for a second. I have a different mindset on this. I know some of y'all ain't gonna like it. This whole idea that the woman is the prize or the man's the prize, I think this is some new age bullshit that social media done came up with. I love Lori Harvey, but when she says that thing on the interview where she said, my mother told me that I'm the prize, I don't think she was telling y'all to run with it like she's a new book in the Bible, the book of Lori. She's just one person who says this. There's nothing against her. My point is, sometimes I feel like y'all take sound bites and turn it into your personal Bible. It's a sound bite. It sounds good on camera. But in actuality, it doesn't always work out that way. No man who's worth having wants to treat you like a princess if you're not treating him like a prince. And vice versa. And vice versa. And vice versa. No woman wants to treat him like a prince if he's not treating her like a princess. You wanted somebody to treat you like you a prize, treat him like he a fucking prize. It's got to go both ways. It's not just one way. I still do stand on this, and I don't give a fuck who disagree with it. I think it's perfectly fair for a man to ask directly or indirectly, well, what do you bring to the table? How do you add value to my life as well? This whole idea, I shouldn't have to say what I bring to the table. I am the table. Girl, you got fucked up credit. Teeth you ain't gone to a dentist for a teeth cleaning in 2 fucking years. That's why your breath smell like that. Your waist looks like you got a tire around your waist because you refuse to go to a gym. You have no emotional regulation whatsoever. When you get upset, you either shut down completely or turn the fuck up. You're a total crash out. And your problem solving skills are pitiful. But because you're pretty, somehow or another, that's the situation. And then You expect a man to take care of you financially. Right? Fuck a 50-50 deal. You expect to be taken care of financially. Meanwhile, you add no fucking value beyond what you can do in a bedroom. But yet his mama put him through private school, so he got his education. He did some therapy. He take care of that body. That's why you like looking at him. He knows his value. He got good credit. He got savings. And you think you should get access to that simply because he's attracted to you? Ha! Fucking delusional. Yeah. But y'all don't want to hear that. Hey, Marilia. Y'all don't want to hear that. Let me tell you this, and some of y'all don't want to hear this, but you need to hear this, all right? This is your good sister telling you this. And I hope you listen real close to me when I tell you this, okay? Most of y'all ain't young enough, and some of y'all ain't pretty enough to have a man overlook all your bullshit just to be with you. Just like they need to be realistic, so the fuck do you. Okay? Barely 1% of this world, if that much, got the supermodel kind of looks to make a man overlook everything just to be with her or him. I'm cute, but I ain't that motherfucking cute. Okay? The fuck? We gotta be realistic with ourselves. You know why you need to go to the gym? You know why you need to go to the gym? Because, bitch, your genetics ain't made you pretty enough not to have to. You know why you need to go to a fucking therapist? You want to know why? Because, bitch, you not young enough or pretty enough for a man to tolerate bullshit from you in that particular way. You see what I'm saying? You want to know why you need to get your fucking credit together and make sure your finances are straight? Because, baby, at this good seasoned age that you at, or based on how your genetics done came together, you pretty. But you ain't her over there. You need to have your own money. Stop letting these pretty ass women tell you to do what they do. All right? Stop letting them tell you that she look like an Instagram model. She is size 0. Okay? Skinny, pretty, all this other stuff. Telling you all you have to do is blah, 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 blah. That's all she got to do. Okay? But for bitches like you and me, baby, we need to make sure we're emotionally regulated. We need to make sure we're bringing something to the table. You know what I'm saying? And then the other piece of it is, if you really want what she getting, are you willing to deal with what she deal with? So I can tell you this right now. Having a bunch of straight male friends, those men like those women. They enjoy those women, but they don't really respect them. Those men walk all over those women. Those women can't say anything at all. If they don't like something, they can't speak up for themselves. A lot of y'all got a mouth on you. And that's why you need money. That way you can say whatever you want to say to them. Because y'all ain't going to shut the fuck up. I be trying to tell y'all how to soften it up and be a little more feminine. But y'all some fucking bulldogs. Y'all some bulldogs. Y'all are, and I love y'all for it. But y'all some bulldogs. Y'all don't know how to shut the fuck up. I be like, be feminine and shit. Make him feel like a king. Fuck him. I'm like, God damn, Deborah, chill. Chill. He just said he was coming home late. You know what I'm saying? Y'all rough. That's why you need money. Because you can talk your shit when you can pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? I had a good friend years ago. She wasn't mean, but she would put her man in his place whenever he needed it. And sometimes he would need it. I said, girl, ain't you worried he gonna leave? Ain't you worried he gonna leave? She said, where the fuck he gonna go? She sound like a man. She said, where the fuck he gonna go? I make most of the money in his house. I takes care of shit. Everything like that. I'm the best thing ever fucking happened. Where he gonna go? I remember she cussed him out. I just sit there like this. I felt so bad. I'm like, Shaquille, it's okay. It's okay. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Don't say nothing back. Don't say nothing back. Mm-hmm. You know what I think it is? I don't think that the gender roles that a lot of us have looked into, that we believed in through our lives, I don't believe that those gender roles have anything to do with natural order. That a woman should be in this place and a man should be in that place. Gender roles were created because of economics. Because think about it, economically, capital, money, all that kind of stuff was generally distributed to men. It was men who had the jobs. It was men who had the businesses. So with that understood, if he was the only one working in the house, he's the only one with the money, of course he could call the shots. Of course he can go out there and cheat and have 3 other houses out there, 3 other women pregnant out there. Because where was she going to go? Of course he could be in a dominant role and she's in a role that to me resembles servitude at times. Because she had to contribute in some way, shape, or form. But now that women have access to economic opportunities, jobs, businesses, education, and they're finding, oh shit, I don't got to deal with this shit. It's not that the gender roles are changing. It's that the gender roles had nothing to do with gender. They were economic roles. The financially dominant person in a household generally will have more influence. And if it is an unhealthy dynamic, that the person with more money in the house can even control the house. And so my question to you is this. What are you doing to make sure that no matter who you with, no matter if he has a lot of money or little money, if she got a little money or a lot of money, whatever it may be, what are you doing to make sure that you are in a position where they have to treat you good? Because you are so exceptional in every single way that they know that they've gotten a prize and they know they can't replace you. I'm the last one to talk about that your body and your face don't matter. You can join my insurance team, Lady Luck, by clicking the link on my Instagram page. It's the link in my bio. I'm the last person to talk about that aesthetics don't matter, honey. My skin is always, I get my facials once a month. My eyebrows are done. My hair is always done. My nails are always done. Skin, take care of my body. I work out. I take care of myself. Why? Because I like being pretty. Pretty's an investment. I like being pretty. That's just me. But one motherfucking thing I know for sure, okay? And I'm not a young pretty bitch no more. Now I'm an older pretty bitch, okay? But one thing I know for sure, and I've always known this, is that pretty was never going to give me the type of economic stability or the type of emotional stability or the type of security at home that I need. Because when all you got is pretty, when all you got is what you can do in the bedroom, baby, you are so easily replaceable. Do you know how men talk about y'all when all you can do is lay on your back? And I don't care what he's saying in your ear about how you the only one and you the best one. That's all bullshit. Okay? I guarantee there's 5 other ones. He don't have time to be with them. Girl, he got time to do whatever he want to do. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you. You want to have power in your relationship or in your life, not power over him, but personal power. Personal power is built on, and it's the same thing in a negotiation, it's the same thing in business, it's the same in everything. The more the other person knows that you have the ability to walk away, the more power you have. I'm not saying have your foot out the door and threaten to walk away. Don't ever do that unless you're really ready to go. But the more they know that you can walk away, the better, the more power you have. I'm going to cherish you and treat you good when I know that you know your worth. And if this don't work, you could always leave. That doesn't mean you're not going to leave with tears in your eyes, but you can leave. You can leave, you know? I'm not up for that turbulent shit of coming in and coming out, so I don't play with that stuff. I never tell a man, I'm going to leave you, I can leave you. I never do that kind of stuff. I think that's crazy. But I think one thing I always know deep down in my spirit, and I didn't always notice, but I noticed at this point in my life, is there's no way that I will ever accept mistreatment from anybody in any space. There's no way I will ever accept being undervalued from anybody in any space. Because I can leave. I can leave at any time. So unless, and I could be perfectly happy without you. So unless your presence in my life is better than how it feels to be by myself or with my friends or whatever it may be, why would I be with you? Bitch, I learned this a long time ago. Get your own motherfucking money. Get your own money. You wanna know why? Because then you ain't gotta hold your breath and beg and plead and figure out how to manipulate a man into buying some shit for you. If you wanna buy it for you, that's great. All right? Somebody gonna buy it for you. Whether it's him or somebody else, so thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, baby. But if he don't, guess what? You can. You can. Women be getting mad at these men. He didn't do this for me. I told him I want to blah, blah. He didn't buy me this. Why you give a fuck? Go buy it for yourself. Go buy it for yourself. Do you know that when a man knows you depend on him financially, then he realizes he has all the power? Y'all don't really want that. Y'all don't really want that. You want to be taken care of. But what you don't understand is that you are your own superhero. You need to take care of yourself. The most beautiful feeling on earth is when you know that there's anything on this earth that you would want, within reason, of course, and you got the money or can go get the money to go get it. You ain't got to tolerate no man who get on your nerves. And when you're with your man, you're with him because you want to be with him. I love that. That's the kind of relationships I love. Oh, I love that kind of relationship. I'm with you because I want to be with you. I don't need you. I don't need you financially. I'm with you because I want to be with you. And you're with me because you want to be with me. If it don't work, that's all right. My bills will still be paid. I will live the exact same lifestyle. The exact same lifestyle. I'm good. But you know where that came from? Me working. I decided years ago, I was in my late 20s. I had just finished dating a guy who had a lot of money. I jokingly said he was richer than God. He wasn't, but I did say it was a joke. He had a lot of money. And he was so controlling. I remember when we broke up. I'm not going to go into the full story, but I just remember when we broke up. It was because of basically, in my opinion, he was trying to exert control in an area that he didn't need to have control in. And what occurred to me was I will never go through this shit again. I will never go through this shit again. Because he was not the only man who I dated who was like that. I dated one before him. A lot of money. But he didn't know how to keep his hands to himself. So I'm never going through that again. So I had one was controlling and manipulative. The other one liked to put his hands on people. By people, I'm people. People is me. Okay? And I said, I will never give up my power again just to have access to a man's money when I can get my own money. And you know who said something I loved when she said this? It was Cher. She said that her mother used to always say to her, Mom, no, her daughter would say to her mother would say to her, Cher, I just want you to settle down and find a good man with some money. And she said, Mom, I am the man with money. Blew my mind. I was like, if you want to truly reside in your femininity, I mean truly live in your femininity. Live in your femininity. Get you some money, girl. Create a soft life for yourself. A life that's only financed by you. If you have a man, whatever he does for you is only more. When daddy want to put some money out there, when daddy want to take care of you, girl, fabulous. Enjoy it. But you know, come hell or high water, you're good. You're good no matter what. Girl, if you want to be feminine, have financial security. There's no more beautiful femininity than the type of femininity that's birthed from knowing that you have financial security that rests and resides on you and your own choices. You want to see a calm woman when her man is putting her through it or trying to? Look at a bitch with some money. He could be doing all this shit on earth. She be like, girl, what you gonna do? I know you stressed out. You saw what he posted on Instagram. You heard about him with so and so or whoever. It's unfortunate, but you know, he gonna do what he gonna do. I just focused on me. That's how I know a bitch got money. When a man is acting crazy and she don't give a fuck. She give a fuck, but she really don't give a fuck. She be like, what you gonna do? I don't know. He called me when he ready, and I'll talk to him then. Meaning when he called me, I won't break up with him. And because she takes good care of herself, she got a whole fucking phone book of men who she knows she could ring up at any moment. I'm monogamous. I'm only with one man at a time. I'm only with one man. I will never cheat. That's not me, okay? However, I'm not unaware of the fact that should this door close, there are other doors open. I don't check in on those other doors. I'm not texting with them because I don't believe you should be having conversations and doing that other stuff. If you're in a relationship, you should not be in communication with people that you know want you. I never understood that. Oh, that's just my friend. No. You need to have a solid boundary there. Unless your relationship allows for that. That's a whole different story. If your relationship allows for that, that's different. But if you're in a relationship that's not okay, then you shouldn't do it. I won't do it. However, I'm aware of it. So you can act up if you want to. Try it. Go for it. I got my own money. I got my own everything. And although I may cry, Maria, what you said? You said, why didn't fate put you in my path when I was younger? Baby, I'm here now. I may cry. I may be sad. I may be a lot of things, but bitch, I'm not going to be weak. All right? I ain't never, no, let a man treat me like shit. Dun, 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 dun. Y'all know that Aretha Franklin song? I rewrote it. Have your own baby. And I'm not saying don't listen to these other influencers, motivational speakers, coaches, whoever, who teach you how to find a provider. Listen to them if that's what you want. They're not wrong. I'm just giving you the other side of the coin. So I'm saying get yourself a provider, but make sure that you're your first provider. Make sure that whatever he does for you is just extra and icing on the cake. Make sure you're not dependent on him. You see what I'm saying? That if whatever he does for you is gravy, it's wonderful. Get yourself a man who's okay with that. That's fine. I'm certainly not telling you not to. You see what I'm saying? Because they right. One thing you will never hear me do is talk about other creators and other speakers who are teaching you lessons. Different people want different things in relationships, and you got to lean towards the advice that resonates with you. My advice is geared towards the folks who are like me, I would say. We done been through some traumas. We done been through some stuff in our life. We done depended on people and it didn't work out so well for us. We've been hurt. But what we had to own for ourselves was that the hurt, the pain, and some of the trauma that we've dealt with in our life could have been avoided had we been more empowered and understood that the savior and the protector and the provider that we were looking for, we were that person all along. And we would have never been hurt had we been walking in our own power enough to not give our power away to somebody just because we thought they could provide us with superficial things that we could provide ourselves with. That's who I'm talking to. See, I've been through enough stuff, and baby, I've been through enough therapy. But even with my level of healing, I'm not healed enough to financially depend on a man 100%. I'm not healed enough for that. Baby, you know that level of anxiety I go through for that? To be financially dependent on him, to know that at any moment, all he got to do is shut off that credit card. At any moment, all he got to do is cut off that card. At any moment, all he got to do is leave. Well, I'll go to court. Girl, you know what court look like? You know how long it takes to get through that shit? You got the money to go through that process? Years. And even if he wins and you get a judgment against him, to say you get your alimony or whatever, girl, he ain't got to pay that immediately. Girl, he can drag that out. You will be fighting in court. You're going to end up spending so much money in court until you run out of money. And then what's going to happen is you probably going to end up settling for less. He owe you X. But you can't afford to keep fighting him in court. So what you end up doing is saying they'll say, well, I know I owe you $1 million. It's been 6 years in court. You ain't got no more money. What if we just settle this whole thing? I'll give you $100,000. You go away. Girl, if you know like I know. If he was smart enough to make the money, then girl, what makes you think he's not smart enough to know how to keep it? The fuck? I think y'all think these men are all some simps. Okay? Just these men are stupid. They done made all this money in business and in whatever else they done did. And now they just gonna open their pockets to you and you gonna run through it. And then when you decide you done with them, you gonna take them to court and get your alimony just like the girls on the movies. Y'all love to hear about these celebrities and baby mamas and everybody like that getting these big judgments and settlements in alimony or whatever, they get. But what if he don't pay it? What if he drags it out? What if he has no assets that are accessible and he files for bankruptcy? See, some of y'all didn't hear me and some of y'all did hear me. All right? So we're just going to leave it at that. Some of y'all just didn't hear it all the way, and that's okay. Just because he's rich doesn't mean his assets are accessible or within his control. Therefore, if there's a judgment against him and he himself has no assets attached to him, then how will the judgment be paid out? What you think? The court gonna go and search every country and every bank around the whole globe to find where this man might have some money? That again, although he may have access to it, it may not technically be in his control. Hey, Flavia. Okay. I don't talk about the other part of my work, but it ain't no big secret. Okay? So y'all know I'm in financial services, right? I'm in the insurance industry. Yep, that's what I do. Okay, own a couple of insurance companies, lead up some more. Okay? I lead a leads business as well. Okay, I got some other things going on. But one of the things that I've been involved in for years is asset protection. I learned about it from taking care of my own self when I had to deal with predatory situations. And I said, hold on, I'm never going through this again. What Oprah said. She said, life don't always throw you a wrench to hurt you. Sometimes it's about what is this here to teach me. Now, she said it in her class the way I said it my way. You see what I'm saying? See, I don't do money talk too often, but I know y'all like it when I do it. Okay? And I will tell you this, I'm not here to give you any legal, tax, or financial advice. I don't know your situation. So, in fact, everything I say right now, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I implore you, don't do it. It don't take very much money or very much effort for not even a rich man to go on the internet and easily move whatever he got in his name out his name. completely legally. Completely legally. And he's not hiding his stuff from the government. Because he's going to tell the government where his stuff at. He ain't lying to the government. But you won't know where nothing at. And you don't have deep enough pockets to go get it. Because there are places where people can put their money. Where the governments of those places will not allow you to touch it. You can bring every court order, judgment, divorce settlement, and everything else from your country to them. And they're going to look at it like this. It'd be a woman sitting in the office at the desk. You come in there. You say, I'm here to enforce a judgment against so-and-so. Hand her the paper. Give me that. She look at it. Can't help you. Yeah, what you mean? No, can't help you. But does he have money here? Can't say. Can't say. No, can't say. In fact, I need you to leave now. Okay? Because there are places on this earth where it would be illegal for them to answer your question. She gonna put her freedom and life at risk just so you can run after some money that you didn't deserve in the first place. So my point is this. If you was counting on going after some man's money, putting yourself in a position where you just gonna do this, you just gonna sue him, you just gonna blah, 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 blah. Girl. That's all right. And you can call all the ambulance chasers you want that you done got off the back of the phone book to run after him. Girl, they ain't got no power to do shit neither. They can't do nothing. In fact, they're not going to take your case. I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling you this right now. Once they realize that the man ain't got no assets, because they're getting paid a percentage on what they collect for you. Anyway, I'm giving y'all too much game, and I don't need to. All right? If you could change one thing about your 20s, what would it be? You know Edwin asked the best questions. You all do too, but Edwin asked very, very introspective questions. If I could change one thing about my 20s, I would have hoed with better men. I'm not saying I wouldn't have been a hoe, okay? But I would have hoed with better men. The men I was with was very nice, but darling, your tax brackets weren't high enough. And for the ones who did have high tax brackets, they wasn't the best ones for me. I would have found me some good, nerdy, rich men. Not to get their money, but so that I could learn from them. I would have been focused on a smart man rather than just some good-looking man. I would have been focused on an intelligent man who has the confidence and security to teach me rather than the man who just wanted to take me to dinner and pay a couple bills. So that's what I would have done on that end. In terms of myself, I don't think I would have drank very much alcohol in my 20s. You know, the 20s is great because you're partying, you're going out, you're drinking, you're having fun and everything like that. I never really drank in excess. I did that more in college, but like not in my 20s. That really wasn't a big thing for me. I had my fun, but it was not. But even when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, how much more productive would I have been if I was spending weekends working, building something, which I eventually did in my late 20s once I got into business for myself in the insurance industry. But how much more productive would I have been had I been spending my weekends building something while working my full-time job during the week, as opposed to going to housewarmings, happy hours, and carrying on. Stuff like that is fun, but that should be once a week, 1 weekend per month when you building. Not every day and weekend. What the fuck are we celebrating on every Friday? Going to work for 5 days that week? No. What else would I have done different? I would have tried different countries a lot earlier. Let me tell you this. I stand on this 1,000%, 1,010%. I love America. That doesn't mean that I love everything about it. But I do love my country. I'm from there. I love my country. And I have nothing negative to say about that. Even if I did have something negative to say, this is not the platform I would use to say that. Right? I'm just being real with you. Right? However, you can love your country and still be a contributor to that country while still exploring other cultures and other places. And I would have done that, not just because of the cultural expanding experience. I would have done it because economically, I think it would have put me ahead a lot earlier. When you can live in a place where your rent is $600 a month. You get where I'm going with that? When you can live in a place where your rent is $600 a month. You see what I'm saying? When you can live in a place where your meal is $3-4, but yet you're still working remotely and earning a U.S. income. You could be working in a call center making $50,000 a year. But if you're living in a place where the average income is $14,000 a year, and therefore the things there are priced at that level, you have a huge gap. And that's called wealth. Wealth is not built on how much you make. It's built on how much you spend in the gap in between the two. You see where I'm going? That's something I would have done. For fucking sure. For fucking sure. Even if you don't want to be out of the country forever, build yourself up. It's amazing what a year or two could do. Then you come back, buy a house. You come back, you buy a business or whatever. You might even meet your husband. A lot of y'all talk about, I don't like the men that I have access to. I'm going to call the thing a thing. I don't mean no games. I don't mean to be mean about it, okay? But I'm going to call the thing a thing. For me personally, I've always dated Black American men. I had a one white boyfriend who was Italian. I had another boyfriend who was Korean. This is my early 20s. But for the most part throughout my life, I've dated Black American men. Some may have been mixed with this, mixed with that, but they identified as Black American, right? And I can tell you that we're not a monolith. We are not all the same. Just like Black women are not all the same. White women are not all the same. White men are not all the same. You go down the list, no one's all the same. But I can tell you that there were some common experiences that I felt like I dealt with in dating. Now, let me say this before I say those experiences. I don't want you to think I'm trashing anybody. We're a magnet often for what we are. Or at the very least, we're a magnet for energy that we give off. So if I dealt with certain things consistently, I have to own that maybe there was some energy I was bringing to the table too that invited that energy in and made it feel at home. I have to own that for myself. But with that still said, I can say that for the type of relationship that I truly desire within my heart, I did not experience that type of relationship until I was outside of the States. I think some of y'all understand what I'm saying. It's amazing how you can have two men who, from an ethnic perspective, are the same. You have two Black men, for example. But one being raised in one society versus one being raised in another society, they're two completely fucking different mindsets. I got over the idea of how do I try to have a healthy relationship with a man who is so deeply fucking traumatized by the society that he's in, and it's not his fault. Who is so deeply fucking traumatized by the mother and father who raised him, who are also traumatized and who are more focused on bringing money home than actually being caring and empathetic and compassionate and nurturing. Do you know you have some Black men who are sitting who've never been told I love you by their parents? Mom and daddy don't hug them, don't kiss them, don't nothing. The most affection they get from their dad is that fucking dap shit. And that's why they do that shit. They come out to these other countries, they still dapping people up. As, what's up, my bro? They can't just give a full-hearted hug. Because they're stuck in this toxic masculinity that invades how they deal with women that they're in a relationship with, and also affects how they deal with if they're in a relationship with men. And again, it's not their fault. They're products of their environment. So this is not to trash them. I come from that. I remember when I first left the States and I was like dating and getting to know people, friends even, people would tell me, oh, you're cold. I'm like, what is it? I'm very warm. I'm warm. I'm warm. And I would hear that a lot about Black Americans. I would. Oh, you guys can be cold. We love the fact that you guys have accomplished so much given the oppression that you've been through, because we have accomplished a lot. We have. Yes, we deal with challenges, but we've accomplished a lot. I think you see that more once you leave and you look back in. Like, damn, we're going through a lot, but goddamn, we've done a lot too. But I was told I was cold, not affectionate enough, all those things. And I had to really sit with it. And be like, damn, sheesh. You got a point there. You got a real fucking point there. I didn't know. I really didn't know. You know? And if I could go back to my 20s, you know, to connect into Edwin's question, I would have accepted that you can't change your upbringing or where you're from, but you can change what environment nurtures you today. And I would have been more intentional about putting myself in environments that could nurture me into the man that I wanted to be, and that could heal the child who didn't get what he needed at times. Not because my parents were trying to deprive me of anything, but people can only give what they got, and they can't give you anything more. So you can spend your adult years blaming everybody for what they did not give you, or you can say, how do I go get it now? And to that point, I think that a lot of you all would find that you may actually have a better partner choice for yourself if you stop looking in the same pool of traumatized men that you come from. Y'all all traumatized and all got issues. Why don't you try to pick somebody somewhere else who, if they got issues, at least they ain't these? A man who can see you and on the first date tell you how beautiful you are and how much he like you and how much he want to hang out with you. Girl, one thing I can't deal with no more is a Black American man who is so goddamn traumatized that he got to put you through every game and every motherfucking hoop on earth. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right? He like you, but he can't show it too soon because he don't want to be too thirsty, too this, too that. And y'all do the same shit too. It's not just them. Just have a man who, that is not in his paradigm. But I like you. I'm going to tell you I like you. I know it's date one, but I like you. You're beautiful. I'm so happy I went out with you. When can we go out again? Girl, that is such a wonderful experience. When you don't have to guess where you stand with a man. Girl, why the fuck would I go from that to that? When you experience that, that shit is amazing. A man who will fall into your arms and cry when he needs to. Girl, I remember that. I'm not naming no names, but a man very special to me. I remember he was going through something. And he texted me saying, I'm going through something. I'm coming by the house. I said, yeah, come on by, whatever. I opened the door. And his big 6'2", 6'3" self just fell into my arms and just sobbed into my arms, right here into my neck, as I just held him, rubbing the back of his head. And he just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and got it out. Very masculine man. A very emotionally healthy man, too. But because the pain he was going through at that moment in his life, he felt comfortable being that vulnerable. Now, imagine for a man who's that comfortable being vulnerable in his pain, imagine how vulnerable and comfortable he is with his joy, with his love, with his affection. The fact that he did, to your point, Cajun Peach, that he felt so safe with me, how much more did that make me feel safe with him? As he cried into my neck, he healed parts of me that didn't know how to be that vulnerable. Because he was showing me what could be done. Dude, what makes you think I can go from that to Mr. I know we've been together for 6 months, but we just talking. The fuck we are. We wasting time. I'm not dealing with this shit. Hell motherfucking no. Hell no. Y'all be surprised what you may come across. These men ain't perfect everywhere else. But for a lot of men, the type of trauma that they went through, a cultural trauma, some men didn't go through a lot of cultural trauma. They just didn't. And some of those men look just like you. But to that point, your prince, your king, your queen may be from a culture where he or she doesn't look like you. But the culture that built them and the person that they are makes them perfect for you. I'm just saying. I can go down the list. I know plenty of people who within 1 year of being in a new location is married, engaged, and living a completely different existence. You might be looking at one of them. But if I knew then what I knew now, I think that I would not have been so wedded to the life path that people told me I was supposed to go down. And I would have been instead more wedded to trying different things. A lot of y'all don't know this because I don't broadcast it. It's something I never felt comfortable talking about, to be quite honest with you. But I speak another language. I'm not saying what, because I'll be giving my business away. I love the privacy of my life, so I'm not sharing that. And I remember when I was young, I never thought about learning a different language. I never thought about it. I never thought about it. It was nothing I wanted to do. I remember one time, I remember I was traveling, and I met this guy. He was so gorgeous. He was staring at me, I was staring at him. And so my fast tell, yes, fluently. Well, I would say almost, probably about 70%. And so I walked over to him, and I was like, hi. And then he had enough English to say, I don't speak English. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was trying to walk away, and he grabs my arm around, and he says, give me your phone. Or he like positions himself to say, give me his phone. So I can get my phone. So I get my phone, and he puts Google Translate on my phone. Like he downloaded Google Translate, so it was not on my phone at that time. And then he talks into it, and he's like, but we can still get to know each other, and then showed me it. I read it. I was like, uh-oh. And I was like, what do I have to lose? I felt so silly. But I was like, what do I have to lose? And then the next morning, he texted me in his language. And so I used Google Translate to translate it. And he was like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm at home. Or not home, but I was at the place I was staying at the time. And he was like, you want to hang out? Or something like that. He came by, and we did not part ways for 4 days. We were together every single day. He spent the night with me. He just never left. He never said he wanted to leave, and I never wanted to leave. And there were occasional awkward moments where you're like, I just want to have a deep conversation with him. But you had to remember to pick up that translator. But then after a while, I got tired of picking up the translator. I got tired of it. I was like, oh. So finally, I was just like, let me try to listen to what he's saying and hope that maybe some of the words I'll remember while looking at the translator, and then I'll start to kind of catch on to what he was saying. And after a while, I start to learn, when he says X, that means yes. When he says blah, 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 that means no. When he says this, that means that. The words just sound like a mishmash of stuff together, right? The words sound like a mishmash of just like, I couldn't know I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. But it was certain things. And that's what started my journey. Initially, it was start my journey to learn another language. But it wasn't until life took me around the world to different places that finally I was like, you know what? And then I continued with that same language. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But some of y'all don't know, your king or your queen may not even speak the same language you speak right now. But guess what? You can learn it. You know the quickest way to learn a new language? Fall in love. I know plenty of couples who are like that. They do not speak the same language, but because of your deep desire to want to communicate with each other, and y'all gonna use hand gestures, y'all gonna figure it out. Somebody, he like, blah, 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 blah. And he be like, huh? Blah, 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 blah. And you be like, huh? Because everybody know, huh? Everybody know, huh? Everybody know you when you saying, I don't know what you're talking about. And he be like, blah, 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 blah. And you be like, oh, sunglasses. He's like, oh, sunglasses. Now he done learned a new word and you done learned a new word. So blah, 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 blah. He be like, yeah, huh? And he be like, sunglasses. Okay, bam, now we done learned a new word. You do that enough times, and before you know it, you speaking a whole new language. I tell you this much, baby. I ain't took a class yet. Actually, no, I tried to take a class. I hated the class. I do not like taking language classes. I do not enjoy language classes. I've had wonderful instructors, fabulous people. It's nothing against them. It's absolutely nothing against them. It's just that I don't have an attention span to sit and stare at a screen or stare at a board. I just don't. People say, how'd you learn that language? A man. A man. A man. Uh-huh. You get tired of it. And after a while. But you know one of the best things? When you and your boo, when your two native languages are different, you know what one of the best parts about it is? Even when y'all do eventually speak the same language, this is still one of the best things. You can't argue very well. You can't argue very well. Trust me when I tell you this. Hypothetically, picture a situation where you're mad at him. Because men are men no matter what language they're speaking. And you're mad at him because he did something. And you're trying to tell him, I'm mad at you because you did X. He gets the hint. And he does what men do sometimes. And he just shuts it off. He's like, whatever. Right? And every part of your unhealed soul wants to cuss him the fuck out. Baby, I'm healed, but I ain't that fucking healed. You're not gonna wear that for me in whatever language. And not think that I'm not gonna turn the fuck up. Okay? But you can't turn up. Because he don't speak enough of your language to understand the full nuances of just how good you cuss. I'm a cusser. I'm a southern cusser. You see what I'm saying? I can cuss. You know what I'm saying? While weaving in intellectual shit. I will put you together. I cuss like those people on Harlem Nights, because that's the type of shit I grew up watching. I grew up watching Harlem Nights and Dolomite and some more. I can cuss. But when you can't do that, and he can do the same thing, because from his culture, he can cuss with the best of them too. He can do it, baby, because I've heard him cuss people out. I done heard him cuss people out in his language. I'm like, I don't know what you just said about them, but I know somebody gonna cry on the way home. Okay? But y'all can't do that. Y'all can't do that. Because y'all supposed to sound like two people yelling in two different languages. So what you gonna do? You gonna shut the fuck up and just be like, what's the simplest way I can get my point across? And when you are forced to think through your words at that level, because you can only speak at the level of fluency you have in that language and only at the level of fluency that he has in your language. So you have to be very intentional about your words. It's amazing how when you're intentional about your words, how it can cut out so much bullshit that's unhealthy. Sometimes sometimes the issue is that we got too much to say. And that creates the conflict. Right? And then next thing you know, y'all don't work through it. Get back to the house. Because I got so mad at him I couldn't cuss. I could not cuss him out. I wanted to, but I could not. And so I just said, boom! And walked off. I stormed off. And I think I walked home. It was a lot of blocks, but I walked. I had to make a point. I don't want your help. And I really did, but whatever. So I get home, and he's sitting at my door. Like sitting at my door, on the floor. Like literally sitting, leaning up against the door like this with his hands on the floor like this, just sitting there. Right? And I get there, and he looks up at me. And I look at him, standing right there. And he look up at me. And he says, "Can you open the door?" And I go in. And he comes behind me. And he's looking at me like this. Because I know for God he wanted to cuss me out. I knew I was every bitch on earth. You may not have the English word for bitch, but I know I was every bitch on earth. Trust me. All right, I'm a certified bitch when I'm mad, okay? I'm certified, okay? Big bitch, okay? All right, when I've been called bitch by a man, like, bitch, I know I earned that. I know I earned that, okay? When a man cussed me out, like, and you motherfucking, I'm like, and I am. I know it. That's why I'm not offended. Y'all like, you call me a bitch. I'm like, bitch, that's what I am. I'm a bitch. That's the what? Why you think I'm cussing him out? To be a nice person? The fuck? You see what I'm saying? So I could feel the essence of him literally probably calling me every bitch on earth on the way as he's going to my house. But again, I know I didn't have the language to cuss the way I want to. And trying to cuss with Google Translate, that just don't do it the right way. Do it? It don't do it the right way. You be like, and you motherfucking blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And they go, because it cut off midway into your paragraph. It's like, God damn it. And you got to restart it again. Hold on. I don't want to miss out on what I said. So let me move the cursor to right there. Okay. And then you blah. It don't have the same effect. It just don't. Right? And you be like, here, read that. It don't have the same effect. And I think that because I'm such an advanced level cusser, Google Translate probably waters it down a bit. You see what I'm saying? It waters it down. Because even Google ain't got the words that I got. It's like, nah, this bitch is on another level. Right? And if I try to use ChatGPT to cuss, all right, ChatGPT gonna be like, now bitch, you violating our policies now. Because you not supposed to say that shit in here. Now you better pull it together, cause you trying, you about to lose your account. So I can't use that either. I've tried, as you probably can tell. So then I turn around and he like, you want some water? Do you want something to drink? 'Cause I know you walked a long way since you were being too stubborn to get in the car. Bitch, venom is coming down my fucking chin. Like I'm ready to bite again. Ready. I was like, water with ice, please. And he handed you that water with ice. And he wrapped those big, strong arms around you. You want to know why? Because he doesn't come from a culture where he was taught to hold grudges. He doesn't come from a culture of thinking, men ain't shit and women ain't neither. He don't come from that culture. He got his own stuff, but he don't come from that. He comes from a culture where hugging and affection, you can always do that. And so as much inside of me as I'm ready, because I was thinking about arguing on the way home and how I was going to say it. and he just hugging you. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have had that experience from a man in the States. I'm not saying that. But what I can say was in all those years and decades there, maybe something in my spirit just didn't attract that type of experience. Or maybe, culturally, sometimes our type may not be from our culture. Let me explain what I mean. Some of y'all, the type of man you want, maybe he's from the Middle East. Maybe he's from a West African country. Maybe he's from Europe. Maybe he's from a Southeast Asian country. Because maybe the cultural values and the things that you want, maybe those characteristics may be hard to find in someone from your own culture. This means anything's wrong with your culture. But I think when we're looking for a partner, it's not about, people always ask me, what bar should I go to? Where should I go to meet a man? And you say, but what if it's not in, not only he's not in your zip code, what if he's not in your country? I had a good friend of mine, I'm not telling her name, anything like that, I'm not saying shit. She met a man who she eventually would marry from a different culture. And I remember one thing she said was, because he's a very handsome man, all that kind of stuff, beautiful man. If you all saw him, you say, oh my God, he's a model. He's a very handsome man. And she said that one of the things he said to her one time was, he said, sometimes the women from where he's from get annoyed or jealous that that she's with him or that he's with her. Or, you know what I mean? That he chose someone other than one of them. And he said, y'all didn't value me when you had the chance to. Y'all always thought I was just any old kind of nothing. But she sees me as a king. She sees me as a prince. She sees my potential. She sees this. So even for some of them, they're going through the same challenges you're going through. You hear where I'm going with this? They're going through the same challenges you're going through. He may be exceptional, but he may not be exceptional to the people who are very accustomed to him. I'm not saying that every other culture is perfect and ours is messed up or vice versa. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is sometimes we may find that we're more appreciated by someone who's different than us. You see where I'm going? That's why I'm not here to poo-poo on Black American men, da-da-da-da-da, this, da-da-da-da, that. I'm not here to poo-poo on that. Maybe my experiences was based on the fact that we come from such culturally similar backgrounds that maybe we didn't know how to value each other. Or maybe because we come from such similar backgrounds and such similar stuff, we both were so enmeshed in our own stuff that it's hard for any of us, for either of us, to rise out of it when we both traumatizing each other. How can you be traumatizing each other, you know what I'm saying, and expect to heal each other at the same time? Again, I'm not poo-pooing on any one group of people. You said, Maria, you said, I had experience married and dating with a man from other cultures. It was very difficult. It can be for sure. It can be for sure. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. But what I can say is that I see a lot of women, and I'm not trying to ignore my white women in here or my Asian women or any other women. I'm not. I'm just saying I hear more often from my Black American women about their challenges of meeting a man who will cherish them, want to marry them, and so on. I hear that very consistently. Not to say that white women don't have that same challenge. I'm just saying I happen to hear it more consistently from Black American women. And when I left the States, I met so many Black American women who were married. But that marriage didn't happen until after they started traveling. And some of them met the man that they married and they moved back to the States. Right? Some of them met him and they stayed wherever they went, wherever. Right? And let me be very clear, because some of y'all, I know some of you are thinking, oh, he married you for a green card, right? Or he married that Black American woman because she got more money. Not always the case. In some cases, I can tell you about a girl who I met, when was it, last week? She marrying a man, and he's from a country that is not known for a lot of money. And when I tell you he got it together financially, he's good. He's taking care of her. She got her own going on, but he's taking care of her. I've seen that a lot. So you got to put your stereotypes aside, right? I'm going to give you a secret. Not all of them want to come to the States. You think, oh, they want to come there? Some do. Some don't. Some of them are very satisfied with their life wherever they're at. But they're not looking to go there. They don't have anything against it, but they're not looking to go there. Oh, Therese says, she says, my dad didn't speak English. My mom taught him. Very common. Dr. Rose says, 100% agree. My man is from Turkey, and it is the most peaceful and love, and he's the most peaceful and loving relationship I've ever had. I'm just talking. Let me see here. You said, my mom married a Colombian. I'm reading your comments here. I was talking for a while, so I really wasn't reading comments as much. I'm trying to go up and read some. So all I'm saying is expand your picture on what your life can look like. You know? Expand your picture on what your life can look like. I saw this beautiful wedding the other day. You said you're from the Philippines and you live in Maryland now. I saw a beautiful wedding the other day. I guess they're like an influencer couple. I don't know. I don't remember their names, to be quite honest with you. But I did see a beautiful thing the other day. And it was a black woman, right? A dark-skinned black woman. I want to make sure I call it out because I think that's relevant for what I'm saying. Because sometimes I think that dark-skinned women don't get a lot of love. That may be true in the spaces you in, but that's not true in every space. Dark-skinned black woman, marrying, I believe he was Chinese. I don't recall, but I believe he was Chinese. And I thought that was just exceptional. Not that she was marrying a Chinese man, but that both of them were open to the idea of finding love based on connection rather than heavily based on culture. Because the same way we have a lot of inter-community pressure to stay within our community, other cultures have the same pressure. They have a lot of pressure too. So I'm gonna say, I go out, and these men don't look at me. I'm trying to get with this man who's a different culture. I'm trying to explain myself, but they don't look at me. Or he's looking at me, but he won't approach me. Well, it could be because he has a lot of inter-community pressure as well. In the States, that's not uncommon in the States. We're a group where this group stays with this group stays with this group stays with, everybody tends to stay with their own groups. And then if there is any crossing between the groups, it may seem like that's very prevalent, but it's not as prevalent as you think. And when it does happen, that couple has to deal with a lot of stuff potentially on either side, because both sides of the family may have issues, spoken or unspoken, about it. They might, right? They may have a lot of struggles around that. You said my man is Haitian, and we have 11-year age gap. He lived in Chile for 3 years and came to the States 3 years ago. He struggles a lot, and I won't lie, it's very difficult to acclimate him. But you're being patient. I understand. But there are certain cultures and certain places around the world where dating outside of your race or dating outside of your culture is not as frowned upon. Right? And by dating outside of your culture or your race, I'm not saying that you got to go be with a white person or this person or that person. No. There's a million different races. Be whatever you choose. And this applies to white people too. You know? This applies to white people too. You know? You said, now MJ, too much of a cultural difference can be detrimental sometimes and even become a barrier. I'm not allowing my relationship to and not allowing the relationship to be fully successful. Honey, any relationship can go through issues. I'm just saying expand your options. Expand your options. I'm not saying marry someone just because they're from a different culture and they're cute. You put them through the same evaluation process you put anyone else through. But I will just say for myself, the men who I have traditionally dated, wonderful men. Some were not the best experience, but I'm not going to act like they were all horrible. There were certain commonalities in experiences I had with them. They were not always bad. It's not like they were bad people. But certain commonalities in terms of just the way we navigate shit. That I was like, I don't much like this. And I can't get him to change. It's not my job. And he can't make me change either. And I'm sure he's got some things about me he don't like. But I don't like this. The number one thing I don't care for that I was experiencing at that point in time in my life was the amount of work that they make you go through to get affection or get commitment or get all. It's just like so much fucking work. It's like this inherent fear of vulnerability. Again, I keep reinforcing the whole idea of, but I don't want to seem like I'm being thirsty. Baby, be thirsty with me. Be thirsty. I love it. I'll be thirsty with you too. I love that shit. The fuck? I love that shit. Why would you not want that? You know? So I'm just talking. Because all y'all just wait. I'm sitting single and ain't got nothing going on in my life outside of talking to y'all. Please believe it. Whatever you need to believe that. Believe that. What do I know? What do I know? I don't know anything. I'm going to see if I got a quick question here, then I'm going to go. How do you get your confidence back after leaving a verbally abusive relationship? Therapy. And surrounding yourself with people who talk to you in an uplifting way. Do I believe you need to be fully healed to be in a relationship? I don't think you need to be fully healed to be in a relationship, but I do believe that you need to be committed towards your healing. If you know you got stuff going on, but you want to be in a relationship, that'd be a great time to be in therapy. I think anytime we start new relationships, that is a great time to start therapy for yourself. Because relationships bring up our stuff. It brings our stuff to the surface, right? If you want to see who you really are and what triggers you and all this stuff, get in a relationship. The closer that person is to you and the more vulnerability it requires, the more your stuff is going to come up. You getting your license, baby? Okay. I'm wishing you luck. You got it, baby. And so I think that anytime you start a new relationship, like a real deal committed relationship, I think that's a great time to start therapy. Just to have a check-in with someone regularly to kind of process what you're going through. Because I think that one of the things that hurts new relationships is when you're processing every thought that's going through your mind with your partner. Because you got cheated on a number of times before, so now you're in a relationship, and when he don't call you quick enough, he don't do that quick enough, you're processing it in the form of accusations. You're making accusations rather than actually processing it around, hold on, where is this coming from? Why do I feel this way? Right? And that's why I think therapy is so critically important. How do you handle rejection? I'm going to give you an alternative thought on it. I hope that this helps, but it helps for me. Get rejected more. Let me explain what I mean. The more you put yourself out there, the more opportunities for rejection will exist. You're not going to hit every target. It just is what it is. It's like in sales, right? I train people on how to sell. The more people you reach out to, the more no's you're going to get. But also the more yeses you set yourself up to get too. So it's a double-edged sword. And what I find is that the best sellers, the most confident daters, the people who navigate life, who appear to not have a fear of rejection, It's that they shoot their shot a lot. And so they're not as affected by rejection because they've experienced it enough for it not to hurt them anymore. But they've also experienced enough wins enough because they constantly shoot their shot. They've experienced enough wins to know that rejection doesn't stop you from getting to your next win. You just signed up to join the team? Thank you, Miss Natty. If you all want to sign up to join my insurance team, being trained by me, you can click the link on my Instagram page. It's the link in my bio. Or the link directly above or below this video. I don't like being rejected more than the next person. But doesn't really, I know that it's not that big a deal. There'll always be something else, someone else, something else. So if you're not going to give me what I want, I guarantee somebody else will. If you don't think I'm pretty, I guarantee you somebody else does. If you don't want me, I guarantee you somebody else does. Guarantee you. So the quicker you, I'm less fazed by rejection. Excuse me. I'm less fazed by rejection. I have water over here, but I put it all the way over there. I ain't got it no more. I'm less fazed by rejection than I am fazed by someone wasting my time, trying to lead me on to make me feel good. Okay, you got leads, baby. Let's do it. If you're going to waste my time, baby, I'm pissed. You don't hurt me by rejecting. You hurt me by lying and leading me on. If you're going to reject me quickly. Baby, I just don't see it for us. Thank you, my king. God bless you. I'm not talking shit on you. Or you missing out. No, you not, baby. You good. You probably wonderful and I'm wonderful. We just not a fit for each other. Thank you. Thank you, my king. All right. You got a cousin who I saw you out with the other day. He was fine as hell. What's his name? For real? He's single? For real? You think I'm his type? Oh, you do? For real? How you going to connect us? You going to do it like as a DM, a WhatsApp, iMessage, or you just going to invite us to the same place? Okay, my king. All right, let's make it happen. You my new friend. Hey, amigo. I love it, boo. I love it. You got somebody, I got friends. Who you like? Oh, that's your type. Well, I can see why you wouldn't like me, because Miss Girl's very different than me, but she's a special one. You want to be connected? How you want to be connected? I'll connect you. Child, she's single as a dollar bill. She's single, baby. Ready to mingle. You want to be connected with her? How? What you want me to do? You want me to say you like her, or you want me to act like it was my idea? Yeah, whatever you want. Okay, I got you. Hold on, wait right there. Baby, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Not a flying fuck, not a piece of fuck, not an ounce of fuck, not a grain of fuck. Okay? You see this little leaf right here? This little leaf. I don't even get that much of a fuck. Okay? Not a mustard seed of a fuck. Okay? Honey, what we got to worry about? Oh, for real? That's what you like? Hey, I like it. That's good for you. Hey, friend. You know what I'm saying? What's the picture behind me? A random photo that you could probably get at Marshall's. Although there's no Marshalls here, but it's the equivalent of that kind of thing. It's just like a decorative thing. It's what's his name? I think it's Paris. It's Paris. It's just decorative. Shit that don't even make no sense. But that's how you get over a fear of rejection. By shooting your shot all the time. All the time. I really improved on that once I moved out the States. And it wasn't moving out the States that made that happen for you. And I'm not trying to make it seem like when you move out the States, everything will be good for you. That's not true. But for me, because you got to think I moved to a different country multiple times. And so each time I didn't know anybody there. In the beginning, when it was me and my nephew's sons, at least I had them. So I was like a safety net. So I really didn't have to be quite as social because I always had my babies at home. Right? And I could spend time with them. But they were young men. They want to go out. They want to meet young women. They want to do those kind of things. So I couldn't hang out with them all the time. So eventually, once they got their own lives and got their own, their own lives set up, I was like, I got to figure this out for myself. I got to do this. And I realized rather it was meeting friends, rather it was dating, whatever it may have been, right? I had to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. I had to become comfortable with expressing interest in people. Whether it's romantic, platonically, because how else was I going to meet people? If I sat there like I had done my whole life, passively waiting for people to find me, passively waiting for the dates to approach me, passively waiting on the friends to find me, passively waiting on everything, I would be completely isolated. Picture it. Coming to a country where there's not one person you know there. Not one human being. Not one. And for me, going to a country where no one even spoke my language. No, well, I shouldn't say no one, very few people. I didn't speak their language, really. I did not speak the language, and I didn't know anybody. No one. No one. I remember I used to, I didn't even know how to say hello. I remember when I got to my first Airbnb, my Google Translator wasn't working because I didn't have a SIM card yet. And for that country, I didn't have a SIM card. So I was able to call an Uber in the airport because I could use the airport's Wi-Fi. But I didn't have anything. So it was an act of faith. You're riding the Uber with no internet, so you can't even see on the Google map, on your map, are you going to the right location? And then you get to the Airbnb and the person at the desk don't speak a lick of English and you don't speak a lick of their language. And you're trying to explain to them how to check in, but you also don't have internet, so your Google Translate's not working. So I had to beg the man, without speaking the language, and try to explain to him, put me on your Wi-Fi so I can use Google Translate. I remember when I would go eat, right? When I would go out to eat, I fell in love with, I don't know if y'all remember, but I used to post videos when I was always at buffets. You know why I went to buffets? Because none of the menus in the restaurants were in English. I didn't know how to order the food. And what I'm supposed to do, take out the Google Translate and take a picture of every menu? I didn't even know you could do that until like months and months later. So I went to buffets because it was the only place where I could pick up my own food and not be embarrassed by the fact that I couldn't speak. You know how embarrassing it is to sit in a line at a grocery store on a Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. when everybody's trying to rush to get to work? And the woman's simply trying to ask you, what form of payment do you want to use? Credit, debit, whatever it may be. Same questions you get in your country. But I don't know what she's saying. And so I'm holding up the line trying to get on Google Translate, but my SIM card is so cheap, right, that it's not working very fast. And so I have people behind me sucking their teeth at me. And now I'm the person from another country. I'm that person who people think I'm stupid just because I don't speak their language. They think I'm an inconvenience just because I require more patience than what they may need. In fact, I started picking which grocery stores and what restaurants I would go to, not based on the quality of the food, but based on how nice the people were there. And I would know that on certain days at certain hours, she worked there on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays at these hours. He worked there in this time. And even though we don't speak the same language, they're nice to me. And I know, avoid that line because she's nasty and mean. She's nasty and mean to me. I know, don't go to that store at this hour because he worked there. And although I don't know what he's saying, I know he's making fun of me because people laugh at me when I'm standing right there. And I'm just trying to buy a piece of gum. But you want to know why it was worth it for me to go through that experience? It was worth it for me to go through that experience because that was the cost of a new life. That was the cost of a new life. That's why I'm so private about my life. You know how hard I worked to get it? And I'm not trying to hide anything. It's that I like the way I live. And it ain't for everybody. But that was the cost of a new life. And then when I met a man, and he didn't speak a lick of my language, and I didn't speak a lick of his language. But I knew every time I looked in his eyes, I was looking forward to the next day when I could do it again. I knew that every time he would see me, his face would light up, and I knew I was the highlight of his day. And I knew that there was a whole world inside of him of thoughts and experiences, ideas, wisdom that I wanted to get access to. And so many things I wanted to share with him too. But I knew I couldn't share that and experience that until I started learning how he spoke. So that was an incentive. I started going out into the streets and seeing people and having conversations, sitting at the beach, laughing at jokes, talking about experiences, singing along with music that they loved. Like how we sing along with Anita Baker, Stevie Wonder, Whitney Houston. They sing along to that just in the same way, but their music. And I was thinking, wow, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that. That was motivation. When I'm standing in line at a store and someone treats me like the dumb foreigner and they just walk right in front of me and act like I'm not standing there and cut the line, I wanted to have enough language to be able to cuss them out and get them together. Or at the very least to tell them, you can't do that. Step back, I was here first. Right? So for me, learning a new language, learning a new culture was not about just meeting a man. That wasn't the first thing on my mind, actually. I didn't think about it at all. It was about, hey, I'm pretty much middle-aged. Got the first half out the way. You know, hopefully I got more than a half left. I want something different than what I've been experiencing. And for me, that meant learning a new language. But for many of you all, places you could try won't require a new language. There are many places where English is spoken very, very prevalently. You don't have to learn a new language. You don't. You really don't. I chose to. I'm just that kind of gal. You see what I'm saying? Certain things don't bother me. You said no disrespect, but I know your grandmother is smiling down on you. I'm so proud and happy for your life change. Vanessa, let me tell you this. You're about to get me to cry, but I'm going to hold it together. I promise. When I was deciding on my decision on if I was going to do this, because it required learning a new language, all that kind of stuff, I remember I called my grandmother, and she was basically in hospice by that time. But she could still speak, although she was still declining. You know, seemed like every time I talked to her, it was just a little bit more of a decline. And I remember I was on the balcony at the Airbnb that I was staying at the time, and I showed her. I said, Grandma, look, right? I was talking to her on WhatsApp. I was calling like on my aunt's phone or my dad's phone, and I was like, look, I want to show you where I'm at. And I showed her off the balcony. I showed her it, and I was talking to her about it. And I felt like even though my grandmother didn't travel with me, I don't think she even had a passport. Every place I went, I would talk to her. When I was in Bangkok and it's the middle of the night there, but the afternoon in Texas, I remember sitting on my balcony at my hotel eating Taco Bell, talking to her about what happened that day. I remember in Bali, in the middle of the night, walking in circles around my little pool I had at my villa. I had like a little tiny pool. I'd just be walking in laps around while talking to her on the phone. She was on the journey with me everywhere I went. So she knew the highs, she knew the lows. She was the one who told me to try South Africa. It was her. I remember I called her and I was like, look, Grandma, I want to show you where I'm at. It's so beautiful here. And she said, that's the place. Stay there. Stay there. I said, but I got to go to XYZ and I got to go here. She, you ain't got to go nowhere. Stay there. Stay there. I said, but she said, you ain't got to do nothing. I said, but I don't speak the language. She said, what else you got to do? You ain't got nothing else to do with your time. Learn a language. Quicker you start, the quicker you'll get it. I said, I don't know. It's so different. I'm by myself. I don't have no family here. I don't have nothing. She said, well, you're going to meet people. You're going to meet people. And she was right. She was right. Day by day, I met people and they introduced me to people and they introduced me to people. Over time, I started to realize, oh, when people are talking to me, I know what they're saying. I don't know how to respond. Then after a little while, I started learning, I do know how to respond. But I don't have all the words, but I can at least get somewhat of a response out. And you know what happens for real? When your social media starts to update. And you start having the videos on your social media from whatever country you're in. And so you end up watching different things. I'm like, oh my God, I just watched this whole meme or this whole reel, on Instagram or wherever. I just watched it completely in XYZ language. And I didn't understand every word, but I understood probably 60% of it. I remember one time, someone took me on a date. Okay. Am I talking too much, guys? Am I talking too much? So, someone invited me on a date. And he said, we're going to go see this movie tonight. It's a great movie. I said, okay. I'd never been to the movies there. And since I moved from the States, I haven't been to movies in a very long time. Anytime I go to the movies, it was when I was going back to the United States to visit and I go to the movies there. But I didn't go to the movies in quite a while. No, I take that back. I remember I did go see the Beyonce movie. That's probably the only movie I've gone to actually going to a theater to see in all those years. And so, the Renaissance movie. So we get to the theater and I was thinking, because in different countries, even the English movies, when you go into a movie theater, they'll have a lot of different options. They'll have one movie, but let's say it's this particular movie, right? Let's say it's, I don't know, The Avengers. It'll be the one that's dubbed in the language of that country. It'll be the one that is dubbed that is in English, the original version. And then there will also sometimes be one that is in the language of that country. I'm sorry, in English, but with the captions of that language. So let's say you're in a Spanish-speaking country. On screen, they're talking in English because that's the original language, but they'll have Spanish captions. Because some people they like that experience, so you have different options, right? Not a very common thing you see in the States, but it does happen elsewhere, right? Because in the States, English is a very prevalent language, so that's just not something that happens. So he said, when he said, let's go to the theater, knowing I didn't speak that much of the language, I was like, okay, he's going to pick a theater, pick a time, pick a whatever that is in alignment with what I can understand, right? I don't think he thought about that. He wasn't being considered. I don't think it was that. I think he just was like, hey, you're available at 7. I'm available at 7. Let's go to the 7 o'clock show at XYZ Theater. So we come into the theater, and we were a couple minutes late, just because, no big deal. So we come into the theater, we're a couple minutes late, and we just go to our seats because it's reserved seats. Theater's just like same as the States, nice little lean back seats, all that kind of stuff. So we go to our seats, and the movie's already going, and they are speaking completely in this language. And I'm like, and I'm looking to see, is there like a subtitle? Is there like an iPad beside me? How am I going to? And so I leaned over to him and I was like, English? He's like, oh. And he realized, he's like, oh, oops. So what are we supposed to do? Get up and leave the theater? No, So I then go to my phone and I try to make sure that the light was not very bright on my phone. So I go look at my phone to go Google the name of the movie to see how long is the movie. The movie had to be almost 200 minutes. That's like what? Almost, no, not 200 minutes. That's too long. about an hour and a half. So that's almost 200 minutes. No, 2.5 hours, almost 2.5 hours. It was a long movie, right? Not 3 hours, but like 2.5 hours, right? I was like, I was so thrown off. So I'm like, I have to sit through this movie. He has been looking forward to seeing this. He's been talking to me about it. And I don't know, what am I supposed to do? And then it's not outside the realm of possibilities. It's not outside the realm of possibilities for me to fall asleep in a movie theater. I've done it many times. So I was like, I can't do that now because he's been looking forward to this, and I don't want to fall asleep on something that matters to him. Right? I didn't. So I was like, well, I'm just going to sit through this. And I just watched the screen, and I was thinking, well, I know enough of this language to know certain words, but by this time, I didn't know a lot at all. I knew hello, goodbye, good evening, I'm hungry, I like to order, or whatever. So I'm watching, but as I kept watching, something occurred to me in my mind. What occurred to me in my mind was, stop telling yourself what you don't know and just lean into the experience and do your best, right? Just lean into the experience and do your best, right? And so what I said was, maybe my challenge with learning this language is that I'm telling myself I don't know it. What if I actually let myself just sit here and try to just allow my cognitive abilities, because as humans, we're very smart, to kind of figure it out. Because babies don't use Google Translate to learn English. They don't have to take a language course. They sit in the environment and observe what's going on, and then they deductive reasoning. Oh, when mommy is saying stop, 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 she means I shouldn't do this, right? So I was like, I'm going to act like a child and just be in this experience and try to see what I understand. So I sat through that movie for 2.5 hours, literally. And I watched and I was able to understand the storyline. Now, did I understand word for word what they were saying? Absolutely not. Were there times where I watched a scene and I didn't know what was going on, but then they get to the next scene and I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about, because I was able to put it together. I was like, oh, okay, now I'm getting, okay. So she was leaving him. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then I got through the whole movie and I pretty much understood what was going on. And I was so proud of myself. Because I always had this illusion that you can't enjoy an experience or be in an experience or even have relationships and connect with people unless y'all speak the exact same language. And I was like, here I'm sitting through a movie, understanding it decent enough, with a man who really don't speak a lot of English. Okay? He learned, but he really don't speak a lot of English at that time. We were learning together. Okay? And it was an amazing experience. And as time went along, I kept on allowing myself to have more and more experiences like that. Before I knew it, I'd be like, oh, I got through this whole conversation with someone and I didn't need to pull out my translator. Did I understand every word they were saying? No. But did I get the main points? Yeah. I went to this thing and that thing, and it was okay. And I even got to the point where I was even comfortable with telling people, you don't speak very clearly. Could you speak louder? Could you speak slower? Because sometimes what I realize is that, oh, I'm not struggling to understand you because I don't know the language. You just don't speak well. You don't speak clearly. Just like people mumble in English, people mumble in other languages too. You know what I'm saying? So you have to tell people, I'm sorry. Could you speak a little clearer? Could you speak a little slower for me? You know? Or if someone refuses to slow down, you say, I'm sorry, you speak too fast for me to understand you. I can't continue in this conversation. You say it polite, but you can say it. You know? And it built out a different part of me. When people look at me and they see my hair and all the different things about me, this is just external manifestations of much bigger internal changes. Someone said, I don't like the new MJ. I don't like his hair. I'm thinking, well, you don't really know a lot about the new MJ. You just know about my weave. That's just weave. That ain't got nothing to do with the person who moved to a completely different country and didn't even know how to say hello, but worked towards fluency. And I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm much further along than where I started. You don't know about the person who sat in a different country with no family there, grieving the loss of their grandmother. My grandmother was so close to me, she was like another mother to me. Grieving that. Imagine grieving, having the biggest loss of your life, and you're in a country without anyone there that you're really, 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 really close to in that way. But I did it. The person you see in front of me, and I'm not just making it about me. You want to see my hair down? I don't really pull my hair down very much. I prefer to have it up, but it's heavy. So this actually will be a relief. This is how my hair looks when it's down. It's really about you. You are capable of so much more than you know. And this isn't me trying to convince you to move to another country. I don't think that's for everybody. I don't think it's necessary for everybody. It's not feasible for everyone, to be quite honest with you. So I'm not trying to convince you of that. I'm not trying to convince you to recreate my life for yourself. No. What I'm trying to tell you is, you said my hair makes it look like I'm in Egypt. What I'm trying to tell you is you're capable of more than you know. So much more than you know. You're stronger than you know. And you can get through so much more than you think. Oh my God. You can get through so much more than you think. And you'd be surprised what new life awaits you on the other side of stepping out of your comfort zone and trying something new. If you enjoyed this video, click like and click share. And if you want to get a copy of my new best-selling book, Get the You Know What Out of Your Own Way, click the link that's directly above or below this video, or the link that's on my Instagram page in the bio. You can also click that link to buy insurance or learn how to sell insurance. I love y'all. I'll keep this video up, and I'll also make sure I put it on YouTube as well. That way you all can watch it on both platforms. I love you. Bye. Thanks for listening to me.